Hey, I thought I would show my closer's progress. Now that I know what the hell I'm doing, I definitely have some pretty decent gear. So you may have seen me post this on Twitter, but I haven't posted my updated stuff. So, I got a plus 13 tier 3 core. I have it all chipped and tuned out. Pretty much the best thing I could ask for. I do want to get EX Zephyr combination at some point. I will go into detail about that in a minute. But this is pretty much the optimal weapon without spending thousands of dollars to get a plus 14. I did spend like $30 or $40 on both of my characters since I had some extra money this month, but I should not have to do that again anytime soon. I have the Lantis booster for Harpy, and I have this at plus 12 tier 3. But as you can see here, I need to get the second one, the engine, in order to get the set bonus. Now, this actually works well with the set down here because the set awakens exciting again and turns it into like a hurricane kick, dive kick type thing. So with that, I would get a 32% bonus. Still using the extreme set, and then I got the Harpist set. Actually, no, this is the Tyndallus set. And this awakens exciting again, like I said. So I'm sitting at about 1 million TCP on this character. So I'm going to go ahead and show off the... turn the music back on. Go ahead and show off the awakened Hurricane step. Or exciting again. It does a metric ass ton more damage, and it actually has some nice utility on trash mobs because it launches them all up. Kind of like Ventus Impact, like that. Yeah, I'm not playing very well right now. I've been sitting at the auction house and upgrading and tuning shit like all day, so... I actually can't show it in any harder content because I cleared it all for today. Also, I have Draw Awakened. You get that from awakening your core, or transcending your core. He has a really nice lingering hitbox. Pretty good stuff. Just a little bit over-leveled for this content. Just a tad. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and show the game plan with Harpy here, which will take an uncertain amount of time. Now, for the first few days of Purification, basically the game was resetting part of the maps twice. So it would reset at 8 PM PST, and then it would reset again at 11. So basically you could log on anytime during the day after 11 and do a full set, and then come back at 8 PM that same day, and part of it would come back. And then 3 hours later it would reset again. So that's why some people have like really decked out stuff already. Obviously, you know, luck is a pretty big factor, and the ability or the desire to spend money on the game too definitely helps too. But that has been fixed now, so everybody is pretty much on the same page at this point. So the next thing I'm probably going to get is the Harpy set. But it's going to take, I think, at least like 2 weeks to get these, ideally. Now what this does is it awakens 4 cards, so it basically turns her, she basically doesn't have any ranged moves when you have this on. She kind of like does this spin. It's kind of like a gambit type move. I assume it does more damage. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to spec in having exciting again, because that's actually, you know, something that's on, it's on a 6-second cooldown with my max CDR. But I need to get another Atlantis engine. I don't think I have any at the moment. But yeah, I've been kind of unlucky with that, so I'll have to fight Harpus another couple times until he drops it. Then the next thing I will be doing is I'm going to take all the chips off this one and then put them on my booster, or rather I'm going to take it off my crater booster, which is in here. I'm going to take the airstrike plat off there. But spending money on Mr. J here kind of lowered my my army surplus of cash, unfortunately. I'll have to wait until I want to spend more money on the game, which may not be any more this month at all. So I actually made quite a bit of progress today. I actually got Jay's core plus 13. It's not exactly the most optimal, but I don't really want to spend money to make his tunes like super great at the moment, since he doesn't really have any of his boosters ready. So luckily with him, I already have his Tyndalus set. Now you might wonder why I would want the Tyndalus set, because the only thing that's really good on there is the biomagnetism. It's actually not the biomagnetism that's good. What's actually good is having the punch through. Because when you max his Kung Fu Hustle, you get a chance to use Dragon Kick, which scales off your punch through damage. So that's like not only something extra in your rotation, it's like one of the best DPS moves that he has. Now right now he does not have his revamps, so stuff like Clothesline is pretty much useless on bosses. That will be fixed later on. I'm kind of shocked that they don't have that in the current build right now, but I assume that will be fixed soon, hopefully. We're all waiting for it, basically. So I'm going to go ahead and show my build with him. So all the EX stuff and FMs are maxed for the most part. I took some points out of this, but I still have 2 levels to go, so this is pretty much what I'm going to be working with. When I get his set, I'll definitely want to max neck grab, because that actually gets a skill change or a moveset property change where it's actually useful on bosses. So this one here, the Tyndalus one. So I'm going to go ahead and do a map with him to show my progress. He's not as strong as my Harpy, so he's still got a ways to go. So watch when I do my Kung Fu Hustle. Get that badass rider kick type thing. I think later on it gets like a better hitbox. Right now the hitbox is not very generous. I also have Awaken to hit the deck. Which I thought was terrible at first, but I just had to learn the how the move works. It has that little AoE at the end. That looks so awesome. So Jay's still got a ways to go, but now that all I really need on Harpy for the time being is just the boosters, and that's mostly dependent on when they drop, I'm actually going to be able to focus on him more. So the neck grab turns into like this hurricane punch type thing. I've seen it on the Korean version. So that actually gives you something extra on your rotation. What's nice about Purification is, you know, yeah, there is some RNG with transcending your stuff and getting the gear to drop, but none of it's too bad. I mean, right now, if you're willing to spend money on the game, and I know I do not get paid to say this, you can spend $10 for 7 of the Transcendental elixirs and one of the shape memory devices. Or you can drop 20 and get double for both. Then you get that gear booster loot box, which is probably all weighted towards having a plus 11, so it's probably not worth it. This is actually a good thing to get. They're only going to have this in the game for another 2 weeks. So if you are playing right now and you have the disposable income, you know, you're not going to buy any of the big holiday season type stuff that's starting to come out right now. I actually recommend doing this. That way you can get your stuff to tier 3 now and not have to worry at the moment, because right now I'm going to go ahead and show you the dire situation that the auction house is in right now. Obviously everybody is trying to transcend their gear, so everybody is hoarding their stuff. Like, people aren't really putting stuff up that often. I spent a couple hours over the course of today just sniping things on the auction house to, you know, just get the materials, because basically nothing was on sale. Like, for instance, I'm going to grab these right now. See, none of the elixirs are up right now. Those are the things people need the most. Slot mods have been pretty uncommon as well. So it actually is worth buying all that stuff while you can. Alright, so I'm going to put chips on my core here, since that's the last thing I need to do for it. And then I think that'll be a good showcase. Alright, let's see what it gives me, since slot mods are like an arm and a leg right now. Yellow's good. Black is decent. It's not ideal. I'll have to look into that later. So I'll go ahead and I'll show how Transcendence works. Also, I should mention, if you have chip protectors, let me go ahead to my bank here really quick. If you have these, you can actually transfer your stuff from your Extreme core to your Purification core. Like, I have relatively optimal stuff in here. Instead of having to buy all that again, I can just use the chip protectors and get them all out of there and transfer them over. It's just obviously you need to have, you know, the same slots or sockets. So right now, I'm basically just missing the red and the platinum. Okay, so the first thing you will need is the Transcendence stones. Now, each of these ones, you notice they get bigger. These correspond to a Transcendence level. So this one is for level. This one is from going to 0 to level 1. This one is going from 1 to 2, and this one is going from 2 to 3. And then the same thing goes for the module. So the most annoying thing to get right now is probably the sticky residue. You will need a lot of those. So if you have the money and you see them on the auction house, don't hesitate to buy them all, because otherwise you're going to be waiting a long time for them to be available otherwise. And these drop from 5 and 6, contamination level 5 and 6 sectors. And you also get them from bosses as well. So you definitely want to do your bosses every day if you have the entry items, which you can craft right here. We'll go ahead and do a boss with him really quick after this. So I don't have anything that I can transcend right now. Actually, I do. Hold on. So this is the set I'm going to be using to buff his Dragon Kick. I don't have the materials right now. Basically, you put this in here, and then you use the Transcendence stone that corresponds with the type of item you're using and the level it's at. So for instance, even though I can't show it right now, I would use a core Transcendence stone on this. And then at this point, there's various things you can do. You can use these accelerants, which are like really expensive right now, except for level 1 obviously, but even then they're pretty hard to find. You can use these to buff the chance of going up to the next level, or you can use these elixirs, which basically make it so that the stone won't break when you fail. So for instance, right now I have 6 of these elixirs. So if for some reason I failed 6 times, then all that would happen is that I would lose the elixirs. I would not lose the stone. So it's definitely recommended to buy the cash shop package if you want to save yourself a headache later on, and just try to get up to level 3 as soon as possible. Now there's also these preservatives that you can use to preserve certain parts of your item. So you can preserve the slots, the tuning, the enhancement, or the cache item lets you preserve all 3. So depending on what you do, what most people are doing right now is they're tuning their boosters or their item, whatever item it is, whether it's a core or a module. They're tuning it and then they're going up to the next level. Now that way, when you go up to the next level, you can just choose the tuning preservation or the tuning preservative, and it will give you your tuning counts back, but it'll keep all the good stuff you had. So it actually works really well. Now the shape memory devices, the ones that let you preserve everything, they're actually dropping in price quite a bit since everybody is buying those cache packages. So once again, this is actually a pretty good time. If you have been playing for a while and you have a bunch of in-game money, you can definitely camp the auction house and get a bunch of these. So let's see how he handles a boss. Not sure which one I had left. Oh, I have Harpy left.
무리하지 마라. 건강은 제일이야.
Not bad. So you definitely want to make sure you do your bosses every day, because that's what's going to determine whether you can get the stones. And once you get the Transcendence stones, you can either be a little bit of a whale like me, or you can camp the auction house, which is probably going to take way more time, and try to get them that way. And that way you can try to just get up to Tier 3. Now, I'm going to link Yang's Purification Guide in the description. You can go ahead and get some more information there, but I basically covered the gist of Purification. I know there's not really a whole lot of information right now. I basically went into this relatively blind. I did have some passive knowledge of it, but I had never actually done it before. So now that I understand it, I hope this helps you guys. In terms of my next progress report, it will probably be in a few days. It's going to be a while before I can get another booster. I think it's the engine that I need on Harpy, and then I need to do the same thing on J, and then I need to get the set as well. That's probably going to take a while, so I'll update you guys sometime later this week. Thanks for watching, and I hope this helps. Peace.